Hello, everybody. My name is Kim Campbell of Dermatology Authority. Tonight, we're going to talk about practice startup, they didn't teach you in medical school. We're going to do a slight overview of what you need to know, what you should think about, what are the real important things, and a lot of these other speakers that are in this business course are going to be able to go into more detail on each of those topics. So that's why I was like the third in a row. So that being said, I own Dermatology Authority. We are a medical communications agency. We started as a recruiting and practice management company, and we still do a little recruiting and we help people with their practices, but we just refer them out to our partners, the people that do the best in dermatology on what people are looking for. So, like I said, we have the job board. We do a lot of webinars, CME, conferences. So that's how we have such a large group of dermatologists. We also have a practice startup kit, which is basically everything that you need when you're starting your practice. And then we have a practice consultant, Tony, which I will give you her information later on during the presentation. She's excellent. She can help you soup to nuts. Well, let's go. So you're going to have to build your professional team, right? So you have your practice management consultant, whether that's, one of your other dermatology friends, or you hire a practice consultant. Like I said, Tony is the one that we work with, Solutions Maven. She's excellent. You have your legal advisors. So you need corporate attorneys, with your realtor, to go all over those contracts. And we also have a lot of those HR forms in the kit. We recommend Ron Lebo for any legal matters when starting the practice, because he's worked on a lot of these. Financial advisors, CPAs, banking, who are going to use if you're going to be doing any building, an architect, contractor. I'm sure whatever office space is going to need to be suited for a dermatologist. And then nowadays, everybody needs a marketing firm for your digital, your branding, your web, all your marketing materials. You don't have time to do that, and you don't make any money if you're not seeing any patients. And some practices when they start out, and then maybe a little bit after that, they start, once they want to build. They also do get a PR agency if they want to get involved in media. This is particularly important in the larger cities where you want to get, where it's much more competitive. So the most important thing that you need to do is decide where you're going to be. Location. This is probably the most important part of starting your own practice is where are you going to practice? What type of patients are you going to have? So you really want to take a lot of time to dive in to the demographics, like who are the other dermatologists in the area? How old are the people? What is their income levels? What are their lifestyles? For example, like an affluent neighborhood with like a big population, middle-aged, or like a younger population, you're not going to, like with the older population, you'll have the cosmetics, or if you want to do a lot of skin cancers, you're going to want to be, where there's older people, and preferably where there's a lot of sun, because, you're going to have more skin cancers. So depending on where you want to practice, and what type of patients, you really need to really take those things into consideration. The other area that I would look into is how many dermatologists are in the area. What do they do? What are their services? You want to try to, go where there's gaps in the market so you can do what you want to do and be busy right away. At the end of the day, you want to be doing more of what you like to do, and you want to take on associates to do stuff that you don't necessarily like to do. So you want to be able to offer, these in-demand services and, help your practice stand out in the community. One thing to look at when you're looking into these different areas and population. You want to know how many dermatologists per 100,000 people. Obviously, the lower that number is, the busier you're going to be right off the gates. Like if you go into the middle of Ohio, there's like not even one dermatologist per 100,000 people, but say in Manhattan, one zip code, there's 35 dermatologists. So depending on, what you want to do. The next thing you want to think about is the actual location. You want it to be accessible. You want to be close to major roads, public transportation. You have to have parking. People need to have parking. That's been crucial for a lot of practices. What would be nice is to be near complementary practices like plastic surgeons or a big internal medicine group, some primary care physicians. So she'll also be able to get referrals from and also have a nice relationship with them. You also want to consider, the actual space. Are the rooms going to be big enough? What services are you going to be offering? And, keep in mind, you will grow and you will grow quickly. So you will run out of space. So is there room to, in this building, expand the office, or do you have to start a whole nother office? Is there any other space, in the close vicinity? So you want to really take that into consideration when looking at and deciding what space is and how many rooms you're going to have in the waiting areas. If you're doing Mohs, you might want 2 separate areas, or cosmetics. You just want to, take in, what the future might bring, even though it's probably a little bit more than you want to spend right out of the get-go. But you will ask anybody that's done it. They've grown out of their space pretty quickly. At this time, you're also going to be wanting to putting a business plan together because, depending on what space, it's also going to, how much you're going to get a loan for or how much you're going to have to come up with. There's real estate agents, there's local real estate agents. We also work with Practice Real Estate Group. They are a national company that works with, just medical practices. You do not pay for them because they, just like any other realtor, they make a fee on your renting or you buying a practice. And then they'll also be able to help you negotiate your lease or help you with a mortgage, depending on, where you are in your career, what you're buying, how much you have down. Everybody's situation is going to be different. And then while you're doing this, is very, very important, is to find your practice name. And because you need to be a .com. Don't listen to what anyone else says. You might have the best name, and it's hard to find a lot of things with dermatology. So, if sometimes you want, a lot of people put, their location into their URL. So it's very important to get your URL, and it must be a .com. So next, you got to come up with your corporate structure. This varies from state to state. I would depend upon your lawyers and your accountants for any of this, any permits that you're going to need, any licenses. And at this point, you should be reviewing, your bank options, your mortgages. Bank of America has a great program, and so do local banks. They're willing to give you money. Dermatology practices do not go out of business. Everybody says, I wish I would have done it sooner. Not, oh God, I wish I didn't do that. So, and also, you may have some extra construction costs because just the nature of construction tends to run over. So you get your domain name. You have to begin web development. We have a couple of different marketing companies that we work with, or so you can see who you like of your peers that has a good website that you like. You want to pick your colors, your brand. While you're preparing for this, you should be putting content together, whether it's digital, whether it's articles, blogs. The more content you have, the better you're going to be. You'll get your SEO will increase quicker if you space out that content and you provide it for your web team or your marketing team. You're going to be looking at your contractors, getting that all done, designing your office layout and your timeline for that, getting your personal and business bank accounts, because once you start your company, you need to get your business bank accounts, get your tax ID numbers all ready, get your QuickBooks going, or whatever software that you're going to decide, your provider numbers, any medical license, and any state requirements that you need, and some other insurances as far as business is concerned. So now you're cruising along a little bit further. If you're practicing in the same state that you have already practiced, the credentialing will be a little bit easier, should be easier. You also want to see what your plans are going to pay you, because in the more rural areas, you'll have more negotiating power, or at least when you're ready to drop a plan, you're going to know what you're getting paid by each payer, and see if it's worth taking, or worth dropping them first. List of all the medical and office equipment that you're going to need. One of our advisors for clubderm.com has a big list of all the equipment that you need, and also some information on some people that got some used equipment and where to get that. So they wrote an article on that. Figure out your phone needs, your setup, your answering service, what your fees are, especially if you're going to be doing cosmetics. What do all the products cost? You're going to have to reach out to all the vendors. Hopefully you can get into a part of a group purchasing organization in your local community, so you could get discounts where you got a bunch of different, dermatologists, plastic surgeons joined together, and they get better pricing on the consumables, and what type of packages, what type of discounts you're going to give for your laser treatments, and then obviously your cash pay patients as well. What else? You malpractice, hopefully you have that. You can just transfer that right over. You're also going to have to pick out what EMR, if you're really coming, people that are coming right out of residency, or some of these larger practices that have your hospital systems that don't have, derm specific EMRs. There's several derm specific EMRs. I know we've all heard of Emma. There's a couple more. You want to look at that, and what patient management software and how that's going to work into billing. Some of the EMR companies will offer the billing services. We recommend starting when you're first starting out, is to have a company do your billing. Eventually you'll end up hiring somebody to do your billing, but to negotiate the rates with the billing company, because they're getting paid a percentage. So just until you get on your feet and you get all the other business aspects out, most people do hire an outside billing company right in the beginning. And then finalize your budget, go through your business plan. You want to really be working off that business plan throughout this entire process. We have a business plan in the toolkit, and so Proformas, which will help you with that too. Or you can download business plans, off the internet anywhere. There's tons of them out there. So now we got to get a little bit more. We're getting more into the details. So what does your brand look like? What is your colors? What is your vision? What patients do you want to attract? What are you going to be doing on social media? How much time is that going to take? How much are you going to put into that? The other thing is, like I said, the EMR systems, servers, get that all squared out. Any other office insurance needs, you want to have all your policies and patient forms. We have all that in the toolkit, pretty much everything that you need. There's like 30 different forms in there. Like I said, answering service, medical waste, Dropbox, your credit card serving, your billing. That pretty much covers almost everything. And then the tough part, and I think is probably the hardest part for everybody, is staffing, especially after COVID. It's been, challenging to get consistent staffing and to keep staffing. So we try to make videos when when you're initially training everybody, and have check off lists of everything that every job does, and try to train people on multiple jobs. But like having those videos and those lists of how to do everything is crucial. It'll save you time, it'll save your staff time, save your office manager's staff time. Just in the beginning, it's a lot of work to make those policies and procedures. Like, we have the regular policy and procedures that you need, but the ones like how to turn on the EMR, like things that are very specific to the way that you practice and to your office, make videos and write everything down in a guide because you're going to at some point have staff turnover. A lot of the practices have done well with, getting some PA students or medical students. They don't stay for very long, but they're very good when they're there, and they're very helpful. So depending on what type of practice that might be, or where you are, might be a good fit for you. All right. We kind of went over, the employees, how many employees are going to handle. In the toolkit, we have tons of job descriptions. I think there's like 20 something job descriptions, from, a coordinator to a Mohs tech to, cosmetic salesperson. So it's like you got everything. You want to order your signage. You want to make sure you're all ready to go for that big opening day. You want to start placing your orders with your suppliers. Like I said, we have tons of articles on Club Derm there. You also want to introduce yourself to local physicians, because that's going to be a huge referral source for you. Some of the recommendations that I've seen work really well is if either hosting like an afternoon or an evening open house for the local physicians to come by, to give them your phone number if they have any patients or anything that they personally need, or any of their family friends. It's very hard to get a dermatologist appointment. Also, putting together little gift bags with all the little products. Everybody likes samples. I mean, we all go to the AAD. Everybody likes samples. So you'll win over their staff for sure with some samples as well. So I think, just with other physicians, it's just having access to you and making sure if their wife or their mother needs to get in, they can get in quickly. So now that you're getting super close, you're getting the office in shape, you're getting everything finalized. You want to test everything that's working. You want to make sure your payroll is up and running. Who's going to be on payroll? Your website wants to be up. You want to have your content scheduled for a couple months out if possible. So then you don't have to worry about putting any content together. Just, your normal social media stuff. And you want to try to put as much and pre-plan as much of that as you can too. And then, like I said, you want to have, press releases, announcements, open houses. You want to get some excitement in the community, ribbon cutting, ads in the paper, depending on what type of market you are. You want to try to make the biggest splash into the community. So right before, you just want to review everything again. You want to have it, walk through with your friends, with, other dermatologists, your family, to see what would you like? What would you thought of better? Review everything, make sure, everything's working, have people call in and make sure that the staff is answering the phone the way that you want the phone to be answered, that your hold times aren't too long, what they're, how they're scheduling people. You just want to work through the flow. Some other great tips, your first patients, obviously, hopefully you will get busy pretty quickly if you do all of the marketing and go out to the other physicians and do, your grand openings. But you also want to allow for those rashes to get in, or somebody wants to get their Botox done right away, to squeeze them in, because if they go somewhere else, then, or they don't find, even if they don't find somebody up, that rash goes away, but if you fix their rash, they're going to, come back to you, and they're going to refer people to you. Depending where you are in your career, you already have your social media platforms. You make those announcements depending on what your restrictive covenants are, or your non-competes. But those are, supposedly going away in 100 and a couple days now. So you want to see, decide what's going to work the best for you and for who you're trying to target. In the beginning, in some of the larger markets, it's good to do pay for some, search engine optimization for, for the type of patients that you want to see, whether, it's cosmetic patients, or it's skin cancer patients, or it's pediatric patients. So there'll be special words for that you want to incorporate into your website and into your content. Your marketing agency will help you along with that for sure. Like I said, we are here to help. Like I said, we have this great toolkit with, everything that you need to start your practice. But I really highly recommend working with a practice consultant. We highly recommend Tony. Hopefully she will be able to answer some questions. If you send us any questions, please, email them to us, and either I'll get back to you. I mean, she really does like the nitty and gritty, and, has worked in so many different practices that she'll be able to really, give you the answers to, the individual questions that you all have. So basically, what's in the toolkit, we have 24 templates that address the compliance, HIPAA, financial, business forms, 28 job descriptions, even more than I thought. I guess we added some more employee handbook, startup guide, which is like this, but more detailed. We also give you the book, The Business of Dermatologists, which is a book that Dr. Martawala and Dover put together. They found like the best person in each area of practice management, had them write a chapter, and then put this book together. So it's fabulous. If you should definitely get that. The 1 hour of practice startup consulting with Tony, 2 practice location demographic reports. So if you have 2 areas of where you're thinking of practicing, we can pull all the demographics for you. Some other toss-ins. We got 25% off all team and surgical instruments, free sharpening repairs for life. You'll get 2 free posts on Dermatology Authority's job board, complete marketing plan template, and a practice startup partners list is like a list of all the people that might be able to help you through this process. And then if you really want to talk to some of the dermatologists that have done it recently or have done it right out of residency, we can connect you with them. Or if they're, have a similar type of practice that you're looking to do, we can always connect you with them. And lastly, a lot of the startup resources will be on clubderm.com. If you haven't checked it out, it's got a lot of professional development articles, webinars, and it's always creating more information. So anything that's missing, let us know. We'll get somebody to create that content and put it up there. So thank you. Please give me a call or email me at info or Kim at thedermatologyauthority.com. We are here to help. And I'm sure all of these other business associates of Dr. Cockerell's will be able to help you as well through this journey of yours. Well, good luck. Feel free to reach out anytime, and hopefully we'll hear from you.